But when I exposed this understanding I had about reality, so this understanding is for people who have no responsibility, not for me who now have children, have work every day as a software engineer and deal with complex work, mathematics, and business relationships. My question is it possible for me to live in that place again, even with my actual position in society? Thanks, Lisa. I would say that there is nothing which can cage you. So you can be in prison, you can be forced to do really terrible things. You can be working all the time. And nothing is your prison. Non-duality is freedom beyond what's happening in life. So yes, the answer is. However, what often happens in workplace and in jobs and with kids is that there's lots of seeking energy around that. And so sometimes there seemingly has to be, in the program, a deconstruction of that seeking or an examination of that seeking. Like, what are you trying to get away from, or what are you trying to get to? So maybe I haven't told this for a long time, so we'll just talk about seeking for a bit. So when the baby is really young, there is no seeking. There is just pure beingness, this pure witness and aliveness. And the baby doesn't think, I'm a baby inside this body, woohoo! It's just experiencing and responding. And it can't think, these are my hands, this is my nose. In 10 years' time, I'm going to be top executive at Nike. It just is, it's experiencing. And when it feels pain, it cries, and when it feels pleasure, it giggles or laughs. And it's very simple. And then at some age, like maybe 2 or 3 or 4 years old, a seeking arises. And the way that seeking arises is when the baby identifies. As soon as that baby identifies with being the body, it begins to live something which is not true. And as soon as it begins to live something that's not true, it never feels right. So like say if you lied about something now, it never quite feels right. For some people it does, but for most people it doesn't. And that at 3 or 4 years old, when this baby identifies, it feels like there's a stone in your shoe, like it's not quite right. And as soon as that feeling of not quite right comes, naturally what begins to happen is there begins to be a seeking to put things right again. But the baby doesn't realize what the problem is, that there's been an identification with an illusion. The baby begins to look inside the illusion for a solution. So it begins to look in what it does, its behavior, itself, its body, its senses, its thoughts, its feelings. And it begins to try to manipulate all of that in order to find that relief that it remembers, that love, that relaxation. And what happens in waking up is the remembering of that place, remembering that your essence is non-dual. So non-duality isn't so much about a personal awakening. Like often the person goes through shifts and changes, but it's not about that. It's about an impersonal awakening. I mean, it's really non-comprehensible to the brain in the end. So you start out small, so you learn all these concepts, you learn all about non-duality, and you learn what you're not, and then the person does all these emotional release techniques, it learns about its emotions, its chakras, and the person breaks down over the years. But in the end, it doesn't make sense how it happens. You can't logically think, because I go to work, that takes away non-duality, or because I don't sleep enough, it takes away non-duality, or because I don't earn enough money, it takes away non-duality. Nothing takes away non-duality. And it doesn't make sense. And also the way this life works doesn't make sense. again, that's the person trying to predict, like, if I work, I'll end up with lots of money. If I do this, I'll end up successful. If I do it like that, I'll end up successful. And this isn't true. It works on such a different level to what we imagine it to be. And we're always trying to manipulate that which we don't understand. Thank you.